In Depth with Academia. I'm your host, Richard Price, founder and CEO of Academia.edu, and thanks for joining me today. On each episode, we take a close look at new and interesting academic research. I want to remind you, as always, I'm here to present these papers neutrally, not to endorse any one perspective or conclusion. Our goal is just to shed light on what researchers are discovering and help you decide what these insights might mean for your life, your interests, or just your curiosity about the world. All right, today's paper is by Roland Keates, sometimes known as Roly Keates, and it's titled Strutts East Mill Belper, an architectural and structural analysis. But honestly, there's a lot going on here. East Mill is kind of a big deal in industrial history, and if you've ever been around Derbyshire, or just like driven by Belper, you might know what I'm talking about. That big fortress-like building with the red bricks and the corner turrets, that's East Mill. So, what's the big question this paper digs into? Keates is exploring how and why East Mill, built in 1912, represents a turning point for industrial architecture. Like, what were the innovations and design decisions that made this mill stand out from earlier factories? And why should anyone in 2024 care about a textile mill that's over 100 years old? Well, first off, the evolution of things like factories kind of tells us about larger shifts in society, how we work, what we value, how technology drives change. Plus, understanding why certain materials or techniques were considered groundbreaking can be, a window into how we solve practical problems when industries are transforming. Let's get into the key findings. East Mill, according to this paper, shows off some pretty important architectural innovations. The most obvious, at least from the outside, is the use of something called Accrington red brick. These bricks aren't just pretty or, that lovely red-brown colour. They're super strong. They were apparently even used in the foundations of Blackpool Tower and the Empire State Building. The paper points out that the Strutts, quick side note, the Strutt family really shaped Belper's industrial scene, for over a century, deliberately chose these bricks over local ones from Butterley Hill because Accrington bricks were harder, more resistant to chemical corrosion, and just ideal for standing up to the demands of a working factory. But, let's dig deeper. Keates argues that the real innovation was the steel frame at the heart of the building. Previously, older mills, like the ones William Strutt designed in the early 19th century, used load-bearing walls, or maybe iron frames. But East Mill went full-on 20th century, using a freestanding steel frame, which meant a lot more flexibility for the interior layout. That allowed for open floors packed with heavy machinery, and all those vibrations and loads were no problem for the frame. Plus, the steel and the cast iron columns made the whole place highly fire resistant, which, if you know anything about the tragic history of mill fires, is a big deal. Keates also notes that the brick arch flooring helped too. Think about this, each floor used brick arches supported by cast iron, strength and safety, hand in hand. Yet, and this is interesting to me, the building was constructed without scaffolding. Nothing. How I honestly can't imagine the logistics, but it sounds like it was a risky mission. There's even this tragic detail. A worker named Edward Frost was struck by lightning during construction. Wild, and kind of a reminder of the very real human risks involved when big leaps in engineering happen. Now, maybe you're more of a design person than a structure person. I hear you. The paper doesn't leave you out. East Mill is fortress-like, right? But it also has tons of huge windows. An educated guess based on the author's math puts it at around 300. Those windows weren't just for looks. They were supposed to flood the workspace with natural light, boosting safety, workflow, all that good stuff. And here's another thing, the enduring legacy. Even after the textile industry moved on, East Mill still stands, now a Grade 2 listed building and part of a World Heritage Site. Its design represents a turning point, sort of like a bridge between the old mill era and modern industrial facilities. The techniques pioneered here, they influenced countless other buildings, shaping how we think about space, material, and industrial needs. So, for you, the listener, what does this mean? Well, this paper suggests that every building, even a textile mill, tells a story about innovation, risk, and adapting to changing times. When you walk past an old factory, what hidden innovations are baked into those bricks? Could today's workplaces, or even your home, owe something to experiments from over a century ago? I don't know. Maybe next time you see an old building, you'll wonder what today's legacy will be 100 years from now. Oh, and just a quick aside. Sometimes I wonder how many windows a modern office building has compared to East Mill. Is there a perfect number of windows? Who gets to decide? A, probably not me. Remember, I'm not endorsing the conclusions in this paper. I'm just walking you through the research. Academic work offers insights, not absolute truths. So think of this as another way to look at the built world around you. If you want to dive deeper, maybe even watch a documentary about East Mill, check out the links from Roland Keates. That's it for today. Thanks for joining me on In Depth with Academia. Keep asking questions, keep looking under the surface, and stay curious. See you next time.